Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's day two of my 30-day FAANG grind, and I'm trying to solve 6 to 10 LeetCode problems daily, breaking each down on video and sharing with you here on YouTube. I'm Divya, by the way. I have interned at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where my area of focus was on machine learning. Currently, I am at top 0.2% globally on LeetCode, and I'm preparing for FAANG interviews like most of you all. Yesterday, we crushed some sliding window basics, and today we are diving into two-pointer techniques, which is absolutely critical for FAANG interviews. We will also mix in sliding window variations to keep flexing those pattern muscles. Before we proceed, if you find this helpful, please drop a like, share with a friend who is grinding too, and hit that subscribe button so that we can crack these interviews together. Let us go. I'm assuming this is the eighth or ninth problem for today, and it is LeetCode 75 sort colors. We have been given an array of integers 0, 1, 2, where we have to sort these elements in such a way that 0 comes first, followed by 1, followed by 2. But we cannot use an inbuilt library function like dot sort or sorted, okay? So how do we do that? How do we sort them in place? That is what this question is asking. The other name for this problem, I think, is Dutch National Flag Problem, DNF. But regardless of that, we will investigate and try to answer this question and try to explore the paths that we can take to arrive at its solution. So let us go to the dashboard and we'll see how we can solve this. So I'm at the dashboard right now. How do we solve this problem? One of the easiest way is directly to use this inbuilt sort function, but we are asked not to use that. So what is the other way? The other way is we will have three different pointers. Why so? Three different pointers to manage three different regions, red, D, and F, right? Red and black or white, whatever that color is. My bad, I forgot the name of the color, but let me check what that. Okay, it's blue. Red, blue, and red, white, and blue. Okay. Okay, the name of the color do not matter right now. But anyway, like red represents 0, white represents 1, and blue represents 2. I think my entry in Dutch country will be banned. Anyway, so for that, to handle this problem, we'll have three different pointers. P0 to manage number 0, P1 to manage integer 1, and P2 to manage integer 2. How do we solve this? Initially, we start with just pay emphasis on P1 and P2 and leave P0 as it is, okay? Why so? We'll understand. We ask ourselves, hey, is the number present as P1? Hey, what if that number is equivalent to 2? If that is the case, what do? We swap 2 with the index value presented P2 and make a swap with P1 like this, okay? And once that is swapped, our array will look something like this. It will become 0 and it will become 2. And once that swap is done, for the case where P1 was equivalent to 2, we simply reduce P2 and bring it 1 to the left. Then we ask ourselves again, hey, what if P1 is equivalent to 0, as is the case in this situation? What do we do then? We do nothing. We just make a swap between P1 and P0, and it is a self swap in this case, right? And once the swap is done, we increment P1 by 1 and we increment P0 by 1. P1 and P0 are incrementing when P1 was equivalent to 1. Again, when P1 was equivalent to 0, my bad. Again, in this case, we see that P1 is still equivalent to 0, so we make a self swap again. And once that is done, P1 will come over here and P0 will come over here. What do we notice here? We notice it is 2. So where do we make a swap to? We make a swap to the value 2, correct? Where the P2 was pointing to. It will become 2 and it will become 1. And P1 is still over here, right? So we see that P1 is now 1. In that case, we do not touch P0 or P2. We just move P1 to here. We again see that P1 is here. We just move P1 to this point, and we see that P1 and P2 are pointing to the same position. In that case, we can break out of the loop and return null, because that is what this program asks us to return null once everything is sorted in place. Let us come back to the code and see what we have done here. We took 3 pointer, P0 to manage 0, P1 to manage 1, and P2 to manage 2. correct? We have this initial condition in while loop, and we ask ourselves, hey, if num set p1, if it is equivalent to 0, make a swap between p1 and p0. That is what I'm doing over here. And once the swap is done between the positions value at p0 and p1, we increment the pointer p0 and p1 by 1. Okay. If the p1 value of nums1, if it is equivalent to 2, in that case, we make a swap between p1 and p2. And once the swap is done, we decrement p2 by 1 to the left. Okay. My bad. If p1 is equivalent to 1, nums of p1, in that case, we just increment p1 by 1 and we do nothing to the p0 and p1. That is what there is to this program. So what is the time complexity? Time complexity, as is evident from this part, it is order of n. It is linearly bounded. What is the space complexity? We are not requiring any additional data structure apart from few variables, 3 variables to be precise. So the time complexity is, so the space complexity is constant, and the time complexity is bounded within order of n. Let us go back to the LeetCode dashboard and we'll try to submit this solution. Okay, I've already submitted the solution, so I will just copy and paste my answer, the code, and we'll see that it passes all the test cases. Great, so it does indeed passes all the test cases. So yeah, that was all there was to this problem. Again, this problem is really intuitive and really it requires some deep insight as to how we should come up with all those 3 pointers and how we should navigate that. I think and I do believe that with enough practice and insights, you can come up with your own technique like this. But until then, I will see you in the next video. If you have any doubt or problems, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you understood, please drop a like. I will see you in the next